Block party turning up the volume. Miller on the slide. Game, set, match.
Spectacular crowd inside Mackey Arena. Purdue builds a huge lead.
It's all the hammer. Purdue is going to beat Tennessee here at the Broadway Block Party.
It is down. History for Dave Shondell. The all-time wins leader.
Welcome back to the Big City Podcast, brought to you by Franciscan Health, the official medical provider of Purdue Athletics. I'm Cory Palm. He's head coach Dave Shondell, fresh back from the West Coast, and couldn't be happier right now, Coach. 2 big wins over USC and UCLA. We will talk in depth about those and preview the week ahead for the Boilermakers. But off the top, because of those 2 wins and her performance in those 2 wins, we've got some really cool news about Kenna Wollard.
Yeah, Kenna was just named as the National Player of the Week by the AVCA, and I couldn't be happier for somebody than I am for Kenna Wollard. Kenna is as humble and genuine of a person as you're ever going to meet, almost humble to a fault, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of cockiness about Kenna Wollard. She just comes in and does the work and is a great teammate, all about doing what is best for Purdue volleyball, and she's been that way since the day she got here. And for her to go out and explode the way she has this season, getting moved back to her natural position on the left side, it's just been a treat to watch her just bomb balls. And 33 kills against UCLA, came back with 16 or 17 against USC on the next night. And for the AVCA to give her this honor is just awesome for me. And I mean, how I feel about it. And just someone that deserves it. Nobody deserves it any more than a player that went to a different position for 2 years because 2 other players were here in her spot. Yet she's proven that, you know what, maybe she should have been in that spot all along. And what a great job she did in helping us get those 2 wins, and really all season long. She's just been phenomenal. So super, super happy for Kenna Wollard.
Absolutely, and she joins quite a list of company and former Boilermakers, or Boilermakers, you're never a former Boilermaker, right?
Yeah.
Who've won that that honor.
Well, the ones that we're going to talk about certainly are not former Boilermakers, but Stephanie Lynch was the first to get the National Player of the Week for us back in, I think, 2006. And, of course, Lynch was in that class with Merlau and Miller and a few others that kind of really got this thing rolling for us. And so always have a lot of thankfulness for those people. But Ariel Turner got a couple of those. Sheridan Atkinson got one. Rachel Davis, setter, out of Michigan, got one. Grace Cleveland, and so just a lot of really good players that have been so faithful to our program over the course of time. And but to be added to that list, there's like 5,500 plus players in the country in Division I volleyball. So if you're the National Player of the Week, you're pretty darn good.
Pretty darn good. Up until this morning, when that news broke from the AVCA, when they sent that notice out, her big accolade for the week was Big Ten Player of the Week, which she got yesterday, and that's yesterday, Monday.
Yeah.
And that's big enough for most, but to get the AVCA award is
she's off to a great start and is earning every bit of those awards, because now she's being identified by every opponent. You're seeing a lot of people release block against her, which means they're taking their middles and having them leave early, which means they're leaving somebody one-on-one or maybe one-on-0. And that's something that we're having now watch very closely to make sure that we are prepared for when that happens, that we're getting the ball to our middles, or we're getting the ball to our right side, or we got somebody flying out of the back row that can attack the ball. But it's nice when you've got somebody getting that much attention, because it's going to make things a little bit easier or a little bit more, advantageous for some of our other hitters.
Yeah, we might see a great game or 2 from Dior Charles or Cash Anderson because of
absolutely.
Yeah. So congratulations, Kenna. Fantastic. And let's go ahead and start talking about.
Well, Ryan McAleer also, if we're going to talk about the individual accolades, which I don't do a lot, to be honest with you, because I think volleyball's a team game. But Ryan McAleer, our sophomore, who moved into the libero position for us this year, Defensive Player of the Week in the Big Ten. So that's pretty good for a kid that's only been playing that position for us for about 5-6 weeks. So happy for her, and I think that will build her confidence even more, knowing that the knowledge that she's being respected across the Big Ten.
Absolutely. Congratulations to Ryan as well. Those two awards, they're conferred by the Big Ten Conference every Monday based on previous week's performance. And it goes to not just the performance of those two players, but also the team's performance and results against
very
those
seldom,
two
if you don't win
California
two
schools.
matches, you don't get one of those awards. So,
well, and if you don't beat teams that are highly respected, you don't.
Yeah, that always helps. And go on the road and take care of business the way we did in Los Angeles was, quite frankly, a surprise to a lot of people, and maybe even the old ball coach, to be honest with you. We were going out there thinking, we need to win one of these. We got to get one of these and come back home, because it's the start of this long road swing that we'll talk about. But for us to go out and come back after being down 2-0 in Pauley Pavilion to UCLA, and then go the 2 nights later into the Galen Center and sweep USC, 2 teams ranked in the top 24 in the country, was beyond, I think, expectations for anybody that follows our volleyball team.
It was certainly a great result. Not just the reverse sweep against the Bruins, but the Boilermakers, you fought off 4 match points in set 3, took it 29-27, and, maybe you can't transport yourself back into that moment, but if I can ask you to try, what is that? What's going through your mind, and what is your instruction to the team when you're up against it like that?
Well, we were pretty average for the first 2 sets that we lost. And then we started to play some better volleyball, started to relax and compete. But we were in trouble still. I mean, we had a lead, midway, 3/4 the way through that third set. They kind of came back and took control of it. And really, as a coach, you're constantly thinking about, okay, how are we going to handle this after the match? What's the word going to be to the team after the match? And so it's looking like it might be a loss. And so how are we going to, wrap this match up and start pointing towards USC? Those are the things that are going through your mind, while you're also trying to figure out, what are we going to run in this situation, and how are we going to defend in this situation with your particular team? But this team runs their own operation. Okay, I mean, we're giving them all the help we can.
Sure. But
sometimes I think I'm just along for the ride with this group. And we'll talk a little bit more about the team dynamics later on. But to come back and then just blitz them in the next 2, we just played at such a high level. Of course, Kenna had a great deal to do with that. She was hitting every shot in the book. She was hitting from the left side. She was hitting from out of the back row. At one critical time in that third, I think it was in that third set, we actually moved her over to the right side in serve-receive, which is where she has played a lot on the right side. But we moved her over there, and she swung off serve-receive, didn't get the kill. We transitioned, went back to her again. She put a ball away, and I think it was one of those crucial points in the match.
Yeah. Down, it's 27-27. You get a kill by Kenna, followed by a block from Dior and Grace.
Yeah.
And that sort of flipped things. You get the next point on an attack error by the Bruins, and carry that momentum into set 4.
Yeah.
Where you kind of led from start to finish of set 4, and then set 5 comes. Again, when you're the team who's just taken the last 2 sets, as opposed to the team who hasn't won a set in over an hour, that's how you want to go into set 5. And your Boilermakers, again, wrested control and didn't let go.
And we played well. We hit over 400, and I think they hit under 0, to be honest with you. And you could tell they started feeling the pressure. And you can see that in our sport. It's a game of finesse. It's a game of contacts. And if a team isn't playing with a lot of confidence, it's hard to win. And that's why I've said all along in this sport, one of the most important things as a head coach you can do is get your team ready to play. Get them motivated, get them playing with great confidence, because it's a huge thing in the sport of volleyball, especially in the Big Ten, where there's probably, out of the 18 teams, there's like 15 of them that are all within striking distance of one another. So the teams that are best prepared to play have the best chance of winning.
That margin is razor thin.
It is.
Absolutely.
This year, more than any other year.
Yep. And you flip the page, you get that win, get that celebration. It was epic live on the Big Ten Network. But it was also a late start. First serve wasn't until 10 o'clock on the East Coast.
Right.
That game didn't wrap up until almost 1 a.m. back home.
But here's what I can tell you.
Yeah.
There were a lot of Boilermakers that stayed up to watch it, because I was getting texts like I've never had before, after that match. So our people were up, and we had a huge throng of Boilermaker fans at both those matches,
Yeah.
both in Pauley
That
and
came
at
through.
the Galen Center. I'm talking about 400 or 500 people, which, in volleyball, that's a lot of
It is.
visiting fans to go into a venue. And they were loud and they were proud, as the Boilermakers always are.
Well, Pauley only had just under 1,100 people there that night,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
a good chunk of them were, and that came through on television. I restrained myself from texting you at 1 a.m., but I was watching. I know a lot of folks were. Go back, get to the hotel, try and go to sleep. Luckily, it wasn't a back-to-back. You had Friday off.
Yeah, great scheduling
And,
for us to have that time in between to kind of, because it's tough after a big win to regroup. It's tough to prepare for another top 25 team in 2 days, yet alone 1 day. So it was nice that we had that day, and we got a chance to watch Indiana play USC on Friday night on TV, and Indiana, who is playing extremely well. Best Indiana team maybe that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
They had a team go to the Sweet 16 in 2010 that was led by Ashley Benson, Kent Benson's daughter. That was a really, really good team, but Benson kind of would put them on her back from time to time. This is a much more balanced attack, and we've got Indiana in about another week or so. So, we're thinking a little bit about them now, but obviously not as much as Ohio State.
For sure. Yeah, the Hoosiers 13-1 and cracked the top 20 this week.
Yeah, number 20.
After not being ranked last week. So good on them. It'll be fun to talk about them next week for sure. That match against USC, 3-set sweep, came out kind of in control the whole way. I know it's never that easy, but you guys, the performance that night made it look about as smooth as it could have been expected.
I thought it was our best performance of the season, the way we played against USC on their home floor. They were a team that had gotten beat by Indiana the night before, so you don't like that because that's going to be motivational for them, and their coach is going to have all kinds of ammunition to get them ready to play. First game was back and forth the whole way. We had a lead most of the time. They came back and made it real interesting, but we got the win by 2, I think 25-23. And then the rest of the night, we were pretty much in control, and that was a combination of really good serving, good blocking, and great backcourt defense. Best defensive effort we've had in a long, long time. And again, this is a team that on paper, they don't look like a great defensive team if you're looking at the personnel we're putting on the floor. But wow, Grace Heaney put on a defensive clinic and right back. This is a person that's never played back row defense in our program until this year. And she has length, she has anticipation, she has some real toughness that she hides a little bit. But she was great in the backcourt. McAleer was good, Julia Kane, Kenna Wollard, even Taylor Anderson, his backcourt defense has improved. But you can be good in the backcourt if your block is doing their job. And the block can do their job if your servers are doing the job.
Yeah.
And so it's a combined effort that we were really good in all those areas, and I thought we had a good plan to go after them with the serve, which dictated what they could do with their offense, and then I thought our block and backcourt defense were really good.
Well, I love that you point that out about how everything feeds into something else.
Yeah.
If you just look at the stat sheet, people think, oh, this is a tough serving team. They get a lot of aces. You guys don't get a lot of aces.
No.
This is not an ace serving team at the moment. That's not to say that can't change, but at the moment, you're not 1 or 2 aces a match. On average, maybe 3.
Yeah.
But you're putting it in spots, which is setting up, like you said, the defense coming back, it's setting up the block. It's giving easier.
We like to say precision, pace, and purpose with our serving. Precision, pace, and purpose. And this team serves so much better than last year's team. If last year's team would have served like this year's team, we would have gone further in the tournament. I'm in my opinion.
Being honest,
we
yeah.
lost to a great Louisville team. I understand that, but we didn't give ourselves a chance in that match because we served so soft. And now this team serves. We have some people who can blister the ball. We also can put the ball where we want it to. We've got some good short servers if we choose to go that direction. And they, you can serve short and get your tail beat because you don't serve it well enough, or you can serve short and put teams in jeopardy. And that's kind of what we've done when we've been successful. But again, you have to be able to do both. You got to go attack with your serve by going deep and getting the ball back on the chest of people and putting it in seams where they have to make decisions on who's going to pass the ball. But I like the way we're serving. I feel really good about. 2 people that don't play a lot, but they play. Rachel Williams, okay, and Sienna Foster. They're what we call serving specialists. They're listed as defensive specialists in the book. But they come in and they serve and they create havoc.
Yep.
And they've been doing a great job. One's a freshman, one's maybe a junior or a redshirt sophomore. Redshirt sophomore. So I'm really, really pleased with the way both those girls are playing and what they're bringing to this team.
It's such a complete effort. It has to be 11 blocks in each of those 2 matches last week, which 11 in a 5-setter is good.
USC was the best blocking team in the Big Ten, and we outblocked them. What was it?
11-5.
11-5.
Yeah.
So. Again, but it takes a village, as they say, okay, to make it work. It's just not because you're a great blocking team. It's because you're putting them in a position where now your block has an idea where they're going with the ball, so you can then form a nice 2-person block, 4 hands.
Yeah. Before we get we're going to move on from the LA weekend, of course. We have to. That's the business.
It's time.
One last question. Oh. Sorry. I knew you were playing in the Pauley Pavilion.
Yeah.
It didn't click with me until I put the TV on. You were playing on Nell and John Wooden court.
Yeah.
How cool was that?
That was pretty neat because we took the team back on the day we practiced over there, which would have been Thursday. I was able to sneak back into the men's locker room. I'm pretty good at doing that.
Yeah.
That's just a long trait.
You're slippery.
Curious George. And I kind of wanted to see what it looked like. And quite frankly, their locker room is not as nice as what we have at Purdue in men's basketball. But they had a beautiful wall graphic of the pyramid, John Wooden's pyramid, and a picture of John Wooden with it. And I told our team, I said, you guys don't understand the magnificence of Pauley Pavilion from a standpoint of the basketball success that they've had, where John Wooden, a former Boilermaker, built this incredible program, and that will never be matched, most likely. But you also don't know that men's volleyball and women's volleyball, it was King Tut for a long time at UCLA. And so, but here's a way of us going back and just getting a taste of this, getting a feel of what this is. And so we got a nice picture taken with the entire team with that pyramid in the background. But to play in Pauley with the kind of heritage that they have and with John Wooden, the connection we have with John Wooden, it was pretty neat.
Yep. All right.
Moving on.
2 road wins. In your pocket, you got another road game coming at Ohio State later this week. We'll talk about that right after the break.
The Dig City podcast is brought to you by Franciscan Health, the exclusive healthcare provider for Purdue Athletics. Franciscan, inspiring health, working for a better tomorrow. Go to franciscanhealth.org for more information. Now, back to the show.
As we've talked about, the Boilermakers are in the middle of 6 out of 7 on the road. Getting those first 2 is huge. Now we turn our attention to that third opponent at Ohio State. You visit Columbus on Thursday. Tell us a little bit about the Buckeyes. I know their record, they stand at 3-9 coming into the week. It may be a bit misleading.
Anytime you play an Ohio State team in any sport in Columbus, you better be ready to rock. Because they'll be ready. They play in a great facility. I love, what is it called? No. This is called the Cavelli
Center, yeah.
Cavelli Center.
Yeah. They used to play in the Schottenstein,
yeah. Well, no, they never played there. They used to play in St. John.
They got too many arenas.
Yeah, but great facility. One of the best in college volleyball. So I always like going over there, and there's history there because of men's volleyball as well. So we got 2 Ohio State guys on our staff right now.
True,
we got John Klanick, who helped lead that team to one of their first national championship in the sport of men's volleyball, and then Cole Cooch, who was there for a year as a grad student over there and was backup setter. Probably should have used him as a right side player after watching him swing against our team some. But it'll be fun for those guys to go back. But Ohio State has plenty of talent. If you're coaching Ohio State, you're going to have plenty of talent. Now they've had some defectors in the last few years over there, people that have left their program during this era of portal. But they've got some kids that we recruited, that chose Ohio State over Purdue. So I know they've got some players. And they're not off to a great start. They scheduled a pretty tough non-conference, and then their conference play so far was UCLA, USC, Washington, and Oregon those last 2 on the road.
Tough start.
So it's been a difficult start, I think, for anybody that would be playing that schedule. We know how important this match is. I mean, people might think, well, you got Nebraska coming in here on Sunday. I'm not even thinking about Nebraska. That's the furthest thing from my mind. Right now, we're getting ready to play this Ohio State team that's got enough ammunition to beat beat most teams in our league. And I keep talking to you about there was this group, okay, of about 15, 16 teams.
Yep.
Nebraska's not in it.
Nope.
Okay, but I'm not sure there's anybody that's not. Maryland and Rutgers and Iowa have kind of traditionally been maybe toward the lower part of that group. But man, you watch them play. Maryland went 5 with Penn State on Sunday. I watched the match. They went 5. Rutgers beat Maryland, okay, a day or two before that.
Yep.
Iowa's playing good volleyball. So everybody's good in this league, and we don't have enough talent to take anybody lightly. Okay, we have to be ready to play every time we step on the floor.
Yeah, definitely. You cannot take anything for granted in college sports in general, but certainly in the Big Ten.
Well, look at what Penn State did when they went out to UCLA in football. I watched that game on Saturday and saw a UCLA team that hadn't beaten anybody, and they fired a coach and brought a new coach in. But what a difference that made! And that was a delight to watch UCLA play the way they played and beat Penn State, who was ranked. I don't know whether they were ranked top 10.
Top 10, 7 maybe. Yeah, you never know, and that's why you cannot take anything for granted. Certainly on the road, like you mentioned, Nebraska does sit there waiting on Sunday. That game is back in a Holloway Gymnasium. Been sold out for a while, but there might be some late release tickets or secondary market tickets if you want to get out there, see that match against the Huskers if you're in the Columbus area. And we got Boilermakers everywhere. Yeah. Go out and see your Boilermakers.
We need people to show up in Columbus. We really do. And as you know, this team deserves it. They've been playing their fannies off all season long to get to 12-2 on the campaign. We're just on the cusp of being in the top 10 in the country. Yep. And the match at Ohio State's going to be huge for us. And so I hope that we'll get the same kind of following that we've been getting everywhere we go. It's been fun to see the fans show up on the road to watch this team play.
Yeah, I know social media certainly blew up over the weekend a little bit with your mentions, I'm sure, in addition to your texts. You talked a little bit about John Klanick. This staff, in total, been together about 6 months now since
Emily Hill came in.
Since Emily came in
Cole,
and Michael
Cole
left.
Cooch.
Cole joined. And how has that gone? How's that shaken out in the last 6?
I go back. Things changed, about just over 2 years ago when John opted to focus on going to the pro circuit with the Indy Ignite and kind of just do a lot of club stuff. And so all of a sudden we're without the right-hand man, okay, that did a lot of the training in our gym. And we actually went without that guy the entire year. It wasn't until after that season 2 years ago concluded that we got busy and we were fortunate to hire John Klanick. He came highly recommended. And he's the guy that I feel like, down the road is going to be able to step in and fill the shoes here, okay? Actually, he would be a bigger foot than mine, to be honest with you. He's a big dude. But anyway, since that point in time, I think that we've continued to develop talent the way that we need to. And certainly when John left, my role increased dramatically, okay, as being back in the gym and coaching. And some athletes like to be coached and some don't. But here's what I can tell you about this team this year. They want to be coached.
Okay.
I can absolutely be me coaching this team and not worry about somebody getting sensitive about, what are you getting on me about this for? Or what? They want to get better. I mean, there's an incredible purpose within the fabric of this team right now. And they want to prove to the Boilermaker Nation that we can play volleyball. And so the way I coach, Cory, and you've been in the gym some, I like to banter. I like to be on it all the time, okay? If I'm really being me, that's who I'm going to be. Now, if I'm letting somebody else run the training, then sometimes I stay off in the distance, but that's not me at my best. And so I like the idea of a team that likes to hear me and doesn't get their feelings hurt when I tell them they're not doing what they need to do and that this is what they need to do. And right now, this is a great group to coach. And I just love coaching them. I love going back and watching the practice on tape to see what else we can improve on. I spend way too much time with that computer in front of my face. But I love our staff right now. Kat Jewell has gone to a totally new level. Okay, again, a lot of it was a transition, and she knew she had to, and she did. But she has taken it personal with this team and her effort to make our defenders better and to get involved in all kinds of things that 3 or 4 years ago she wasn't involved in. She's been great. John's going to be tremendous. He's our offensive guy right now. He's taking that on. He's doing a really, really terrific job. Emily Hill is this soft-spoken person with great ideas and great thoughts and deals with our athletes very, very well. Ben Catrone is he's a kind of our technology analytics, player development, or student athlete development would be a better term for him. But he's one of these people guys. He's a people person. I think those kind of staff members are huge on a team, and I just love what he brings, the presence he has, just the energy he brings. He's great. And then of course Cole is relatively new. He was from Ohio State. He's one of these guys. I think he went to 17 colleges in 6 years. Okay, actually, I think he went to 6 in 6 years. But he's a journeyman. Yeah. And he's a Southern Cal guy. And but he brings a lot to our group too. And he's a guy that can kind of be in the gym monitoring things when we're not allowed to be. Okay, somebody wants volunteer time to come in and get some time, and he's the guy that needs to be in there with them to make sure things are safe and being done the right way. But it's been fun, it's been productive, and there's not anybody in America that thought Purdue would be 12-2 right now. That's a credit, number one, to our players. For sure. And then number two, to the staff that we put together here. Absolutely. I know when you're putting together a roster, role definition with your players is something that doesn't get talked about enough. Mm-hmm. Who's going to be responsible for what, and everyone being okay with that being your role. I would imagine it's the same when you're putting together a coaching staff. Who's doing what, and everybody being okay with doing that the best they can. And it's hard when you have some new pieces to really know, are they capable of doing that? Is that going to be their strength? How are we going to do this? And I think we have enough versatility with our people that we don't really pigeonhole somebody, okay? And this is what you're going to do, and that's all you're going to do. Yep. You can't do it that way, okay? I'll take all the advice we can get on defense from somebody, okay? And I expect John Klanick to take it on offense, and I expect Kat to take it on defense, and I expect Emily Hill, who's working with our setters, to listen to other people when they have input on setting. But we don't do it like a lot of programs where this is what your job is. Okay, we have kind of a overall look at things, and it's just a little bit different than what a lot of people do. Okay, and it hasn't worked out too badly. Yeah, it's doing okay. Boilermakers 12-2, 3-1 in the conference, up to 12 in the AVCA poll this week. Top 10 in both your RPI and the Massey this week, which is actually more important, RPI in particular. Sitting at 9th in both of those, and in large part because of, as you were saying a month ago, the results from your non-conference opponents. Bowling Green's won 5 in a row. Yeah. South Florida's won 4 in a row now that they're in the conference play. And, did somebody tell you they were going to win some matches? I think we heard that. I think everybody on our schedule is going to do relatively well. Butler has been on the road for 4 matches to start their conference season, and they haven't fared too well, but they will get better. But everyone else is sailing along just as we expected, and I don't think that's going to change a whole lot. Tennessee's sitting here 13 matches in, and the only blemish they have is to your Boilermakers opening weekend still. Yeah, they're up to 17. And I knew that was a big win when we got it. I felt like that was a signature win for this season because I know they've got great talent, and I think they're going to finish in the top 3 or 4 in the SEC. That's no small feat for sure. Boilermakers at Columbus taking on the Buckeyes Thursday. Get out to the Caffelli Center and cheer on the old gold and black. And then Nebraska comes to town for the only home match in about a 3-week span here on Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock start there. That match will be on Big Ten Plus if you can't make it to Halloween. It's not a big enough match, apparently, for Fox or the Big Ten Network. We're going to be on Big Ten Plus. But so many people get that now. Yeah. And clearly, if I know on my TV it shows up, okay, maybe I'm probably paying for it. My wife's probably got that worked out. But we hope that will be a competitive match. I mean, Nebraska is loaded for bear, and I don't know that there's been a better team in NCAA volleyball in the last several years than what this team has. They have everything that they need. Just a great athletic group, ball control. They've got three or four of these little kids that can just go get it, can pass, serve, can defend. They're banging the ball out of the back row right now, unlike any team I've seen out of Nebraska. They got size, they got physicality, they got experience. They're a great team, And the beautiful thing is right now, we'll go give them everything we got. Okay, let the fur fly like we like to do here. Okay, but that's not something that we're not going to be defined on how well we do against Nebraska. We will be defined about Ohio State, and then the following week about Indiana when we play them, and then Illinois, and on down the line. Those are the matches that are really going to be huge. I said huge 18 times today, but all these matches are pretty big.
They are. There's no small competitor or match in the Big Ten, and so far we love what we see out of the Boilermakers. Can't wait to see more.
Got to talk about Grace Heaney just a little bit.
Haven't mentioned her much today, but that's not fair.
Grace twisted an ankle against Washington in the Mackey Arena's first match that we had, and she was just about 75% of herself, I thought, against Illinois the next night, even though she hit over 400. But she just wasn't herself. I don't think she was great physically against UCLA over in Pauley Pavilion, but she re-emerged, in a beautiful way, I thought, against USC, and she was unbelievable. From a hitting standpoint, blocking standpoint, defensive standpoint, she even started serving darts across the net, when she went back to serve. We never took her out of the match, and sometimes we take her out for a serving specialist, but not on this particular night. Grace Heaney is a special volleyball player. And when I talk about the fact that I love to coach certain people, I love to coach Grace Heaney because she just soaks it in. She might give you a little bit of feedback back and forth, but it's not because she's getting sensitive. It's because she's just having fun and she just wants to deal with the coach a little bit. But Grace is just making a huge difference with this particular team. And when you look at the players, you think, how did this happen? How did you lose all these stars and bring in some pretty good transfers, but get off to this kind of a start? And there's no guarantee that this is going to continue. It continues if we keep this mindset, this growth mindset that we have here, where we try to get better every day, and we're great learners and so forth. But Grace Heaney is a big part of it. Kenna Wollard's a big part of it. Taylor Anderson has taken a step up from a coachability advantage, I think. Julia Kane, Ryan McAleer, and then Rachel Williams with her serving. It's just the chemistry or the cohesion or the culture that this group has. It's just been so much fun for me to be a part of. Now, if we're not 12-2, it may not be as much fun.
Right. It's always more fun when you're winning.
That's true. But I do like the way these guys are reacting to all of our coaches, and more importantly, to players coaching players, which is a big thing on our team.
All right, Coach, we'll leave it there. Good luck in Columbus against the Buckeyes, and then when you return home for that game against the Huskers.
Yeah, big week coming up for sure.
Boiler up.